have trouble understanding native English speakers?
Yes. I have difficulty understanding spoken English.
If you have difficulties in listening, you're not alone.
What do you mean?
This is one of the most common problems for English learners.
Why is spoken English so difficult to understand?
Because many English words are pronounced differently from their written form. And we have words with silent letters like thought, island, and muscle. Also, many letters can be pronounced in different ways, like the A in actually,
Barn.
about,
Law.
8,
Share.
private. When native speakers talk fast, we link the words together.
Really?
Yes. Native speakers often connect the words when speaking fast. We don't pronounce every individual word clearly.
Can you give an example?
It's one big reason that it's so difficult to understand. For example, I'm going to have breakfast. Sounds like, I'm gonna have breakfast. If you don't know the meaning of some of the words which the speaker is using, then you will be confused. Sometimes native English speakers replace sounds, add sounds, or remove sounds. If your goal is to understand natives better, you need to have an idea of how connected speech works. You know that some accents are easier to understand than others. If you don't have exposure to a certain accent, you may find it challenging to understand.
That's right.
Many people speak too fast, making it difficult for you to understand the content. What is basically happening here is that your brain isn't used to the speaker's pace, despite the fact that you may know the meaning of the words.
Why do most people fail to improve their English listening skills?
There's only one reason people fail: they don't listen to enough English. They're motivated to improve their listening. They decide to listen to English for 4 hours every day.
After a while, they have trouble finding time to practice.
Finally, they lose motivation and give up.
So sad.
Because they quit too soon, their listening skills didn't improve.
They practice hard in the beginning, but then they quit right after that because they couldn't maintain that kind of practice.
For your English listening skills to improve, you must listen to English regularly over a long period of time.
If you do these two things, your success is 100% guaranteed. Listen to lots of English every day. Do it for a long period of time.
I have tried to learn a lot but without success.
Maybe you practice too little. You read too much and don't listen to enough English.
I practice listening to English for 10 minutes every day.
These actions are weak. They aren't significant enough to make a difference. Think about it. If you listen to English for 10 minutes a day, 1 year from now, you will have listened to only 60 hours of English.
So English listening practice is essential?
Yes. I will show you how to improve your English listening. Remember to practice every day and practice the right way.
Can you give me some tips for listening to English?
Create a habit of listening to English for 30 minutes daily.
But how do you do that if you don't have time?
If you're busy and you don't have much time, you can listen while doing housework, driving to school, taking public transportation, do exercise, waiting for friends. These activities have one thing in common: they don't require concentration or deep thinking.
That is a great suggestion.
Let me share a few tips to overcome this problem. Make sure your phone always has English listening material. You need to download a lot of English listening practice materials to your phone. This way, you can listen to English no matter where you are.
What kind of English material to download to my phone?
Podcasts are audio shows which you can download from the internet for free.
How to download it?
To download podcasts to your phone, you need a podcast app. Go to App Store or Google Play and search for podcast app, and pick one with good ratings. You can download English conversations on YouTube.
People who listen to English a lot also fail. How about practicing the right way?
Let's talk about the wrong way.
What does that mean?
The wrong way to do English listening practice. You don't understand every word and you get frustrated. Give up and stop practicing after the first study.
So what is an effective way to practice English listening?
Listen the first time for the general topics. Try to understand the main points. Don't try to understand every word. Listen again and now try to understand some more specific details. Again, remember that it's okay if you can't catch every word. Listen for the third time while reading the transcript. Pay attention to the individual words and see if your previous understanding was correct.
What about watching English movies?
Watch a few movies in English every week.
Make it interesting and entertaining.
But how do I make listening to English fun?
Start subscribing to channels that interest you. The channels have to be in English.
The other great thing about YouTube is subtitles.
If you have trouble understanding a video, you can turn on captions. Although they're usually generated by computers, they are pretty accurate and really useful. Make sure to only enable captions when it's necessary. If you can understand about 90% of the content, you should disable captions so that you can focus on listening.
What about popular television series and movies?
With a service like Disney Plus or Netflix, you can get instant access to thousands of TV shows and movies.
What if I don't understand the material?
It's not a big deal if you don't understand some parts of the conversation as long as you understand the main idea.
What if I don't understand what I'm listening to and there's no transcript?
You don't need to read the transcript just because you can't make out some words or sentences. So, Don't worry if you don't know some words when listening to English. If you hear people use those words multiple times in different contexts, your brain will eventually figure out the meanings of those words. If the material you're listening to is very difficult or boring, just skip it and find something else to listen to.
But what if almost everything is too difficult for me?
If you feel like almost everything you listen to is too difficult to understand, your vocabulary is probably very small. That is why you have trouble understanding most English conversations.
What should I do?
In that case, I suggest that, in addition to listening to English, you also read in English to quickly learn words and phrases commonly used in conversations.
Why is my listening comprehension so bad? Even though I listen to English quite a lot.
Because you keep listening to things you can easily understand. You keep listening to the same speakers whom you can understand very well. You keep listening to the same topic. For example, you only listen to political podcasts.
So,
don't keep listening to people whom you can perfectly understand. Listen to speakers who don't speak clearly. Some speakers are more difficult to understand than others. Listen to those people as well. Choose English materials on topics that you are not familiar with so that you can expand your vocabulary even more. Don't keep listening to conversations on the same topics. Listen to various topics. Make sure to listen to topics that you aren't familiar with as well.
Can you summarize the steps to learn English listening effectively?
Yes, of course.
I suggest only taking a small part of the listening, anywhere between 5 to 15 minutes depending on how well you understand the listening, and working with that. Repeat up to 4 to 5 times while taking notes.
Read the transcript of the sounds you have just listened to. Check how much you understood. Look up and take notes of new words and highlight the parts which you understand while reading but didn't understand while listening. Listen to the audio again while reading the transcript. The purpose of this step is to focus on the parts you don't understand and evaluate why you don't. You will play, pause, rewind, and then replay. Compare how much you got with step 1. This step will help you learn more vocabulary. Reassessment helps your brain process information, and it is a great way for you to measure your development and help you boost your confidence.
What should I prepare before an English conversation?
Conversation prediction is a very effective strategy for boosting your confidence. This will make it easier for you to understand the content of the conversation. Prepare new words and questions that you think you will need in future conversations. You should have a conversation with yourself about the topic you think you will encounter.
In case I don't understand the content, what should I do?
Here are some useful phrases you can use before paraphrasing what the speaker has just said, interrupting politely or clarification. So what you mean is, let me see if I understand you correctly. If I'm hearing you correctly. Hold on a moment. What you're saying is. May I interrupt you there for a second? Sorry, I really have to say something here. If I understand you correctly, you mean. I'm sorry, but I'm not very clear about. Could you explain that again, please? So what you're saying is. What do you mean by? Are you saying that?
Thanks for your advice, I appreciate it.
My pleasure.